all this, starting with number one, I'm going to explain one by one. Then we can look through on what they obviously always to go with. Starting with number one, column from examples. Column here is creating a column, but you are relating on another example in that table. Give an example that you have full names of your customers. And for those full names, you want to pick out a letter, the first letter of their name and the second letter of the second name. Let's say for Sabit Christopher, you want to create another column that gives you an initial of SC. For Tumsime Pius, you want PT, as how it is on the code. For John, you want JBA, something like that. How do you create that column? Then you'll always look out for something like this, column from example. It means there is another column which you want to relate with to cut and get the initials. Then there is custom column. Custom column is where you generate a column with a custom formula. Let's say like the way we are going to generate a column for revenue, and we shall be multiplying quantity and unit price. That is a custom formula. So we are using a custom formula to create a custom column. It means that you create a column from the formula that you generate depending on your need. Then there is here evoking a custom function. We already have inbuilt functions, so you use that function, then you evoke, then you get a column on its own. Then there is a conditional column. How do we get a conditional column? How do we calculate or how do we add a conditional column? Is like this. Let's say after creating our revenue column, we are going to say you want to create a column that is going to give you low performance, high performance, and medium performance. Then you'll say, for every sales supervisor who sold an order less than 500 shillings, that is low performance. Who sold an order between 500 and 800, that is medium. Who sold an order above 800 shillings, that is high performance. You're only going to get 3 values in that column, low, medium, and high. Maybe you want to use it somewhere in the visuals to count how many orders are low performance, how many orders come in high, how many orders come in medium, or performance, or revenue, whichever it is. That's what now we call conditional column. Then there is creating an index column. Creating an index column is like if you want to create a counter of your rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the index column. Then you may want to duplicate a column maybe and do something else with it. You want to retain an original one, but use another column to manipulate it. Like how I said, you can duplicate the column of your customer names. Then you use a function of extract first letters of their name. I have retained the other column, then I'm creating another duplicate which I want to manipulate. So those are the 6 criterions we use to create custom columns, or call them calculated columns. Now you realize that when you go to measure, still you can calculate, you can create a measure that gives you this, that gives you a conditional column. We call that function, we call it switch. But at some point it is too much of putting together that measure than you creating a calculated column easy, as how we are going to see. So this is where we create calculated columns, and there are more others. Like here you may want to create a column doing a trigonometry somehow, rounding, maybe standardizing, like calculating multiplication, addition. You have selected 2 columns and you want to multiply them, you just say multiply. It will multiply them. So there are many functions here extracting like first letter of the name and all that. So there are many options you can always go with, but right now, that's what I can explain on calculated columns. Okay, let's go ahead and create our first calculated column. That is revenue, right? How do we get revenue? It means our revenue is going to be quantity times unit price. So the first thing actually when you hover here, you get all what I've been explaining. It explains for you. So when we want to create a new column that is going to multiply this and this, according to what I've explained, which one am I going to use? Feel free to unmute. Are you able to unmute and tell me which one am I going to use? Among these, there is column from examples. We have custom, we have evoke, conditional, index, duplicate. Which one should I use? Any chance?
Maybe custom.
Yeah, it's custom. Not even maybe, it's custom. So here we come to add column, then we say custom. The moment you click on add custom, because remember the whole thing is add a column. It means it will be adding for us the column. So the moment you click on custom column, this is what you receive. You see this box. Now on this, I'm going to put this will be my header of the column, revenue. Then you come on your custom formula. What do you want? We want to multiply. You look out for where is our quantity. You double click on it. It will always come here with its square brackets. Then here you put multiply. That is a times, a star. Now before you put anything, Power BI will always show you that if you're stopping from here, then you have an error. You have not fulfilled the syntax. Then, which means I will go and look for unit price, double click on it, it will come. So quantity times unit price should give us revenue. I hope that is fine. So the moment you do that, actually, even if you don't double click, there is insert here. The moment you click on that and you say insert, it will come. No? So, but that is already showing an error. So I'll go ahead and OK. So the moment you OK, it means it is going to create for us another column that is called revenue right here. So, and when you check here that we have added a column, when you check here, it will tell you how they added that column. And you can see what formula they added to come up with that. So that's how we create a calculated column. Then, if we look at the distribution as how it is, now this calculated column here, when you look at it, we haven't given it a data type. You see it is still showing ABC 0123, meaning that they don't know whether it is a text, whether it's a number. So it is always good before you go back the other side, because it will not calculate. You come and say, make it a whole number. But I'm always resistant to make something a whole number, yet I have decimal. Because in case it has decimal and they do whole number, it will be truncating the numbers. So I go with decimal number. Then this time, when I click on it here, you see it is going to show me the ranges. That by the way, you have a maximum of 17,000. We can note it there. I can note it here of 17,091, and you have a minimum of 10. So we can say, let's get a range. The range, because the average is 822, then we can now get a range and get our performance, or we get our, we call it the order value, right? So, or we call it the order value, the order value status or performance. So let's call it performance for easing on the English. So now if we want to add the low, medium, and high, what do we use? What do we use here if we want to add the medium, low, and high?
Conditional.
Conditional column, because there we are going to use conditions. We are going to use conditions for it to give us what we want. Just a moment. Okay, so conditional, which means I will select this, then we come to conditional column, and this is the way how it will open. This is the way how it opens. So I'll call this maybe order. Let me call it order grade. The grade of the order. Now we shall start. If column name, what is the column name? We are looking at the revenue which we have just created. If the, no, not revenue. Yeah, obviously it's revenue. Yeah, it's revenue. If revenue is less than or equal to, we said we start is less than, we do is less than 200, I think. We go with 200, 300, 500. Let's go with 400. Is less than 400, then what should we call it? We say this is low. Then we add another one. If revenue is greater than, is less than 800, we say this is medium. Actually, let's do less than or equal to, and here less than or equal to. Now it means that anything between 401 and 799 gives you, okay, 800 gives you medium. Then another clause, if revenue is greater than, this time we say greater than, we don't put equals because already 800 is here, is greater than 800, this is going to be high, right? Now, after you have put all this covers all your data, by the way. Less and greater, it covers all your data. Always leave a clause in case something is empty that doesn't fall into this. What should we always see? So in case something is empty, then you'll come and put it here in else. Else, put not graded, like that. Then I will do okay. The moment you do okay, it's going to create for us here a column with low here. Actually, you see it is not giving me a distribution not until I select the data type. So you have always to note that. So my data type is text. So I will click on that again. You see now, it gives me low, high, and medium. Low, how many are they? They are 622. High, they are 267. Medium, they are 111. It means that if I came back here and adjusted the numbers, also those numbers will change. If I adjusted here that now I need this to work at, no, the low is too much. Let me go up to 5, no, let me go up to 300. Then, yeah, still that one is working. because if this one is less than or equal to 800, that is 200 to that. So if I do OK, and now I check again my distribution, obviously, because I have updated, I have to again tap, oh, no, I have to come to this step. Then I get my distribution here. So the moment you get your distribution, here we go, just wait for it. Now you see, somehow it has changed. There you see now it is 424. The other time it was 6 something. You see the medium has increased to 309 because we changed the ranges. So that's how we create using a conditional column. What scenario brings you to create an index? Let's say you want to number these transactions and you feel like you need a number such that every time I tell my team transaction 70, they know where the 70 is. So it means you just come and say create an index column. It will ask you, do you want to start from 0 or from 1? Obviously I will say starting from 1. Then they are going to create for me an index here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how an index works. So in case you want to customize it, you can always come here and you customize it. So you customize it and say, let's say start from 1001 and keep adding 1. So when you do OK, it will do the same thing you wanted. 1001, 1002, 1003, 10, like that. So that is how easily you can have it. Or most of the cases you can use that even to differentiate indexes for different tables. That index here starts with 1, index in another table starts with 2, index in another table starts with 3, like that. Obviously, it can also help you to do the counts because here you have 1000 distinct and unique. It is a unique identifier at the same time. Now, how do we create, what scenario where do we create duplicates? How comes that sometimes we shall want to first create a duplicate, then we deal with it differently? So in case you don't want to add a column, you can always create like a duplicate. Let me look for here. Do we have, let me go to the customer table. Let me go to the custom table. We create, okay, now you see this. No, I need customer names. Where are customer names? Okay, this is the customer name. Okay, I will click here. Now, there is an option, maybe I want to extract letters or 2 letters or the first 2 characters or the last, or depending on how we want it. So before I do it, because the moment I do it, maybe it may distort this. So sometimes you may first say, let me duplicate it. So when it is duplicated here, then you come and rename this as maybe initials, like this. Then here on initials, you say, let's extract only, actually, obviously this, because it is on add column, it is going to add another column. But there is another extract that is under transform, this. The extract that is under transform works in this column itself. But when you are under add column and you use the extract, it will add another column that is extracting, of which now the duplicate doesn't give you a purpose. But I just wanted to show you why sometimes you may want to duplicate. So if we say, let's extract 2 letters, the first 2 letters of every name shall come on transform maybe and say extract. We want the first characters, then they are going to ask us how many do you want. We shall say we need 2 and we do OK. The moment we do OK, here we go. You see that it has changed now the initials. There is TA, there is WI, and there is UN, which is unknown. So it becomes easy for you to tag these whenever you want, right? That is a scenario of just giving you how you come up to use duplicator column. Then there is creating a column from example. Creating a column from example can also be the same way. Let's go back maybe in fact here. Now, let's say if you want to create a column from an example, let's say you see this column, maybe you want to pick the date, the date number 22, 22, 28. How do we do it? You'll select that column and then you come here creating column from example. Now they will ask you, do you want from all columns or from what you have selected? You'll say from what I've selected. The moment you check from what you have selected, they're going to create for you a blank slate here, a blank column. Then they will also bring your column nearby and check it to make sure that you remember the column you're dealing with. Now, since I want to create only day numbers, day of the month, you'll come and click here and you start teaching Power BI what you want. So I will first type 22. You see it has come here, you click on it like this. Then you click on another one, it is also 22. You see now it has created a faint values in the background to show you that you have done one example, but I simulate this is what you're trying to do. And you see now it has 28, which is 28 here. It has 06, which is 06 here. And if I confirm that exactly this is what I want, then you go ahead and do a control enter. Even they tell you here. Enter sample values to create a new column. Control plus enter to apply. So here, if I want, I can create another 22. Then I go on another one. If it hasn't given you exactly what you want, you keep giving it examples. Not until it gives you all the accurate numbers. When you confirm, you do control enter. It will actualize the column. And you come and call, obviously it has already called it a day. Because remember I selected on the example I had. So that's how we create column from examples. Even when you want to say, I want to create the first letter of the color, you can come here, you say column from example like this, then it will create that. You start with W. So I'll click a W like this. Then you see now black hasn't actualized. I double click here, I put a B, enter. You see now all of them have picked one letter. If I run down, at least I think everything is that. Then I do control enter and boom. And now we call this maybe color in short or color underscore short. Such that maybe when you're creating charts, you don't want to put a full name that consumes the space on a chart. Remember, when you're doing all this, you're planning for how your visuals are going to be. Maybe you want to use it in the visuals. So when you do a control enter or you do a OK here, we should be able to have that. Okay, so here we go. Is there any question before we leave this part? Because now I want to switch to measures after we have done calculated columns. Then when you're adding columns, you may want to add maybe when you click a column, when you select a column of date, any column of date in your table, let's say if we look out now for like this delivery date, and you come on under add column, then you come under date, it will give you a stretch of a lot of values you can add. So if you want a full name of the month, when you click on this, it will automatically create a column for full month name, which is October, November. But obviously we don't have to create these. These are supposed, it has to be a calendar table on its own. So you don't have to create such into the fact table. You make the fact table too big for you to handle. So there is that dim date where we find all that stuff. Okay, any question with calculated columns before we switch to before we switch to measures, because we have like 30 minutes. Any question? Okay, so, but hope you're still there. So now we shall now switch to measure, how we create a measure. So here obviously we are in Power Query Editor. For you to leave this spot, you have to close and apply, right? So I will say close and apply, then it will be applying all those columns. Now there is something I want to show you, the changes that have happened. Okay, we give it time to load, but in case you have any question, please, you can come through. Then now we are going to look at how we calculate measures, starting with maybe calculating the total revenue, total profit, how you can get the percentages, how you get the counts. Then after that, we are going to create a table where these measures have to be kept, and I will show you how we create folders. Hope time allows us. The next time we come, we are going to create a massive or a bulk measures, and I show you how you can upload them or how you can use AI to create for you measures with ease. So that's why I wanted us to start with the basics. Then you know how measures are created, how calculated columns are created before you use AI. Because we all know that when you use AI without the principles, it can hallucinate and you'd never know that either it has given you a wrong answer or a correct one. So here, now,